My people of goodwill, the people of truth, the people who love truth. How na dey? Area mama salute. On my screen here, you see Justice Kpochi, the leader of the three-man panel at the Edo Tribunal. Now, this man, this very face, the faceless, the shameless, the corrupt soul, he was the one that gave the leader of those, there are three, they agreed. He was the one that gave that judgment. That judgment that was bought and paid for heavily to the Aswe team, PDP and Aswe team. So today we have the School of Thought, the School of Social and Political Thought. They came out with their own findings, and they have rejected his verdict on this case, that Justice Kpochi has twisted the law, electoral laws, to suit the respondent, to suit the respondent to the detriment of the victim. So I just want to put on the screen for you to listen to. So Justice Kpochi, you haven't done us any justice. In fact, why am I calling you Justice Kpochi? Injustice Kpochi, you haven't done us any good. This is a big disservice to democracy and to the people of Edo State. In fact, Nigeria at large and globally, because you are just telling the world that you are useless. You have the tendency, you are very corrupt, and you can sell the law. Whoever beats you higher gets it. So my people, make we put this thing for screen, a long small. May we listen to Dr. Sam Amadi. Is the executive director of the Abuja School of Social and Political Thought. Let's listen to him.
And let's begin with the basics. Why is the Abuja School dissatisfied with the opinion of the court on the Edo State governorship election petition?
Thank you very much. Well, first, the Abuja School has no problem with whoever wins the election. Before the election, the Abuja School has been monitoring INEC performance in elections, and until they view that there is so much manipulation. So they did election presented an option. We saw clearly how INEC destroyed its own rules. For example, INEC did not use the law provides that all materials, you have to write the serial numbers and quantities to ensure that the usual practice where politicians get to give them duplicate copies of different result sheets to write and declare results. Number two, the law says if you ever have results that are more than the number of voters accredited, those votes are invalid. And the Supreme Court confirmed that in the case of Augustine against INEC. Now, what we are quarreling with is we've seen a tendency, not just in this case, where the tribunals and the courts let INEC off very clear violation of their rules, and requiring petitioners who are victims of INEC's, sometimes atrocities, to almost mold bricks with no clay. So in this case, for example, the tribunal's view is that INEC was subpoenaed by the court to come, and INEC sent officials who presented beavers. There was a printout of the result that shows all this evidence. INEC said, the tribunal says, well, INEC official says, we can't operate this, we can't operate it. So the court says, you dumped it on us, you should have operated it. Now, it's INEC who ought to operate it. It's INEC who has custody. It's INEC who presents. That's number one. Number two, the Supreme Court also said clearly that when you allege non-compliance with the requirement in Section 73 up to, which is that you have to take the serial numbers of all the materials, the voting material, everything. If there's no such compliance, it means automatically you don't need to bring evidence of agents to each unit to prove it. The Supreme Court said that even in the case of Opus of Denmark. So this court says, well, we can't accept this because you.
So please listen. In fact, take notes. You just heard what Dr. Amadi is saying now. If you are able to prove your case, even in the case of Uzodinma did not need to bring any witnesses. How many did we brought 19 and they said it's not enough? They are not enough. They should have brought maybe 1,000 witnesses to attest to all the places that they were suing for, that they rejected. You understand? Please listen to this man. He knows his onions. He knows what he's saying. So they didn't need to really bring anybody, but they did. So I don't know what the Supreme Court, the judges now, the courts, the injustices, they are just confusing themselves with all these different rulings because of corruption, because they want to sell judgment to the highest bidder.
Or to tell us people who were there, agents who saw when the form was not filled. Now, what happened in the day is that INEC created a duplicate result sheet, announced those fake results. The result today in INEC IRA is different from the result INEC used to announce. Yes. And it was taken to initiatives, PAP initiative took it to South Africa. Forensic shows that those result sheets were not the right ones. So the problem with Abuja School has is that this tendency of making it almost impossible to overturn rigged election provides incentive for rigging.
All right.
And that's why today you see the governors, everybody simply wants to be on the ruling party because they're not thinking about whether the government will or voters choose them. They know that once you rig,
everyone now today is thinking of joining the ruling party because when they rig the elections, it's almost impossible for you to upturn the rigging. It's almost impossible for the victim to allege a case or to prove. There is nothing you would do on earth. I've been saying it to you. Even if Aswe had given his kidneys, PDP, they've given their liver or whatever, Justice Kpochi and his group, his gang of corrupt elements, they will still ask for the eyes or ask for the joints, ask for the brocos, because they have to find something just to upturn judgment. So it is almost impossible right now for any victim of electoral malpractice to come out and prove their case because they make it impossible. These judges, these injustices. Go on.
Courts validated the rigging. That's a problem.
And this is a problem. Now, before I get to my next question, let me bring that report that I mentioned earlier, and this report was filed in by our correspondent Joshua Imarai. Let's take a look, and I'll come back to my next question.
Fresh reactions are trailing the verdict of the Edo State Election Petitions Tribunal, which dismissed the claims filed by the People's Democratic Party's candidate Aswe Ighodalo against Governor Monday Okpebholo. At a media briefing in Abuja, the non-partisan think tank, the Abuja School of Social and Political Thought, condemned the ruling, faulting the tribunal's decision to dismiss claims of overvoting and electoral irregularities on the grounds that the petitioners failed to present presiding officers and polling agents as witnesses.
The idea that the maker of the document is the only person who can speak to the form, or that the polling witnesses must be called, is a legal fiction with no grounding in Nigerian jurisprudence. The point Abuja School is worried about is the growing strategy of courts defeating the essence of the Electoral Act itself. The change in the Electoral Act is placing burden on INEC, the regulator of elections. The courts are placing burden on victims of electoral malpractices.
The think tank also alleged irregularities in the conduct of the Edo State governorship election, insisting that the tribunal failed to address key concerns raised by the petitioners.
In the election, INEC printed and deployed duplicate result sheets which were used to declare results that bore no resemblance to what actually occurred at the polling unit. This was, of course, established by TAP Initiative. TAP Initiative did extensive work and took the results to a forensic examiner in South Africa, and they confirmed that those were duplicates, they are not the real relationship.
They, however, urge that immediate actions and systemic reforms be taken to ensure that critical issues of electoral irregularities are promptly addressed.
What we're seeing today is that INEC has usurped the right of citizens to elect their leaders by declaring fake results. And the implication of that is that electoral tribunals are now enabling INEC to continue to usurp the people's power and play rough through a crippling technicality that is wrongly applied.
There is no reason why any one of us should be excited about going out to vote in 2027 if these things are not addressed.
In view of any potential appellate action by petitioners over the Edo State,
Una hear our brother. So there's one he just made a statement just now, and it's very, very vital. He said we are worried, he's worried, that the growing strategy of courts defeating the essence of electoral act itself is a thing to worry about. It's a big cause for worry. Now the court itself, they don't want to recognize the Electoral Act. They just give judgment accordingly, court to size. Whatever you need, you get if you are in the ruling party. Like the one that just happened now in the Edo Tribunal. The growing strategy of court is a worry for defeating the essence of Electoral Act itself. Now the court is placing the burden on the victims to prove their case, instead of going through with what is supposed to be. Instead of facing INEC, they now face the victims to now prove the electoral malpractice. Now the petitioners have proven their case. They've done everything beyond reasonable doubt. Only for the court, for Justice Kpochi to upturn the will of the people. Only for Justice Kpochi to upturn justice. So this is a growing need, my people. You might think today that it suits you. You are in APC. You are, it doesn't matter how markets, now we win. My dear, Nigeria is just, gradually plummeting. In fact, it has plummeted to the end. Nigeria is going to just, in fact, be erased if we continue like this. How can court place the burden on victims when the victims already have proven their case? I don't know what else they need. If you give them liver, they say they want kidney. If you give them kidney, they say they want eyes. If you give them eyes, they want hands. So there is no way you can cross technicalities where corruption speaks. So all these things just borders around corruption. The irregularities, the malpractices, the misconduct, the bypass of the Electoral Act is a problem. So Justice Kpochi, we haven't finished this case, so we are still on it. So don't think you take that money and go to sleep. You will not have peace. As long as we, the Edo citizens, have been denied of justice, you also will be denied of peace. You will not have peace. So ironi wetin lue egbe no emi amokia lueji useti lueji uset awa useti luigoni igonari enu na nudo muna nu ya muima ye uwe this, I don't even know what to call it, this ulabalu. You will not enjoy that money. You will not enjoy it in peace, you and your family. So my people, this is a growing need. We got to put our mind, we got to press on. If we just leave this today because it suits Tinubu and it suits APC, my dear, Nigeria, at a time, very soon in the nearest future, Nigeria will be flushed out. It will be a non-existent country. We will not have a country because the Electoral Act itself, I do not even know the reason they are bringing all these acts. They're not following. The judges are not following the worst human beings on earth. They are not following. There are laws to follow. When the Supreme Court makes an order, when they give a judgment, it becomes, they give a ruling, it becomes a law itself. Now, the other one will come and say, this cannot work. If we cannot follow the rule of law, if we cannot follow the electoral laws, then there is no need for election. Cancel it. Select whoever you want to select and put there. There'll be no need to continue Nigeria. There'll be no need. Because if one man is bigger, greater than the law, problem. There is problem. Because in Nigeria right now, the high and mighty are bigger than the law. The high and mighty are above the law, while we, the ordinary citizens, are the ones chopping woto under the law. The law it has to be that equilibrium. You see that symbol of justice with that pendulum that swings on that lady, that blind and deaf lady? That's how the law is supposed to be. No preference to any party. Deliver justice. But our injustices now, they have told us openly where they are not capable of delivering justice. The only thing that they know is you bring money, highest bidder, they sell justice to you. They sell judgment to you. That's not justice. They sell judgment to you. So we just started this now. So the ruling party of the winning party, please, this is not the time to go to bed. We are just starting a new one now. And we're going to take it up. We'll make sure those people that took peace away from our eyes, that took sleep away from our eyes and took peace away from our lives, they too will not experience any peace or sleep. If the rule of law cannot stand, then there is no country. There is no need for a country. Tinubu, you have destroyed Nigeria. You are an anti-democrat. You are an anti-democrat. You have destroyed Nigeria. In fact, everything that we hold there, the bedrock is destroyed because of just what? 2027. Do you own your life? Do you own your life? And all your rotting governor, going from one place to the other, telling everybody that 2027 non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Really? Hey guys, like and share to everyone that matters. Share this video. I beg. I go see you now soon. Thank you. Bye bye. Beautiful and glorious.